Yo, what's up, everybody? Here we are at another video. It looks like I'm doing these things weekly now. I like that kind of like frequency, not too much, not too little. All right, so as always, I like to start off like the first thing that needs to happen is clicking the subscribe button. Like, I like to wonder, in my life, I like to think about why are things in the places that they are. Why are apples on trees? So you can pick the apples from the tree and eat it. Why is water falling from the sky? So I can take a glass and fill it up and drink it to sustain myself. Why is the subscribe button at the bottom of the screen? So you can click it. That's why. So click the subscribe button. Please leave a comment below. I also want to gauge what kind of videos do you guys want me to make? What do you want me to analyze? What do you want to learn? Let me know. I'm also going to start uploading a bunch of stuff about options as well. So that's going to be cool. Get excited for that if you're really into the equity side of things. But yeah, subscribe button, leave a comment below. Anything nice, anything mean, I don't really care. Just write something. Tell me what you want me to make. And let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about EURJPY, and I kind of want to just extend more on my last video about how you can tell long-term bias. This is what I do, right? I obviously reference some OTE, some ICT principles. I obviously also reference some smart money principles. A lot of the stuff I learned also came from Aerial FX. Please go check them out on YouTube. A lot of the ICT stuff I talk about as well. Please go to ICT's. So it should be ICT on YouTube. I'm going to give them both full credit. Aerial FX and ICT. A lot of the concepts I talk about originate from there. And I kind of just further extend my own analysis, my own synopsis and understanding of what they said. All right. So longer term bias. Why are we even talking about long-term stuff? We don't even trade for we don't hold trades for years. But why do we talk about long-term things? I talk about long-term things and I trade based off long-term things, even in the short term, because long-term time frames trump short-term time frames. Long-term movements in the long run will always have a more have more say or more of an influence on where price is going to go. Right? So you always have to keep in mind, you can't just trade blindly. You have to keep in mind, where are we really going to? Oh, I think it's going to fall. I think it's going to, I think it's going to go up. Why? You got to look at the long run first. So I like to start in the weekly. Sometimes I look at the monthly, but monthly is not really, I guess we could start there, but it's not always like the best thing for me. But you can see we've been really just consolidating ever since the first chartings of this currency pair. So what you want to do really is just see what point are we at. Are we at a point that it's going to oscillate downwards, or a point we're going to oscillate upwards? Right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay. It looks like we were going up for a while. How much more up can we go? Or are we going to go down? Right? Just keep that in mind. Nothing definitive yet. Nothing's really ever definitive. You just need to look for enough confluences to make you confident in a particular direction. And once you have enough confluences, the more confluences there are, the more high probability your trades will be. The more times you will get them correct. So if we look on the weekly, what do we see? First thing I saw was this triangle. 1, 2, all the way down. 1, 2. You can see it recently bounced off this point. I had drawn this triangle a long time ago, but it bounced off the low of this triangle. Really cool. All right, so we can see the last thing that we did was bounce off this triangle. What am I looking for next? For it to come back up and probably bounce off here, right? So down, 1 bounce, 2, bounce again. Didn't quite get there, reversed, finally got that bounce off. I'm hoping that it'll come back up here. So long-term bullish. Okay? It's that simple. It's really not that hard, right? It's that simple, that technical, right? What are some other things that we can see that are confluences for it to go up? This little gap here, you know, little gap here, right here. This is weird. That's not how candlesticks are going to look. It usually should get filled. You can see that it got filled over here to the T, really, before retracing a little bit to fill some imbalances down here. We saw a push up again. What do we see here? Some gaps around here. Kind of weird, right? Big institutional candle up here that took out 1, 2, 3, 4 highs. We're going to come mitigate the open right here, this candle. Maybe come all the way up here. However, I'm not sure if it'll make it that high because of the confines of this triangle, right? We have this gap right here. Kind of lines up with where the top of the triangle is. So you can see that getting filled. We got some retail high right here. Relatively equal highs. Relatively equal highs right here. Money is resting above these highs, right? When we push above these highs right here, people are placing buy stops. And when people place buy stops, that means if it breaks up here, triggers to buy, that's liquidity, right? Because the bank, whenever you buy, the bank can now sell. Because in the market, you need both buyers and sellers. You can't sell something to someone if no one's going to buy it. So people put their buy stops above these highs. That's just it's just a classic retail, you know, a classic retail trading strategy. Breaks up above these buy stops, people buy, banks can now sell off, right? Because they have people to buy. Or people who play off the resistance, right? They put a sell limit here. Price comes from here up above these highs, right? What that does is that it triggers their sell. However, banks push it up past their stop losses. What happens when you are forced to sell, but you had a stop loss? That means you have to buy back your position. So there are now two groups of people who have bought, which allow the banks to sell, right? Makes a lot of sense. Sorry about that, cancel. All right. So we have a lot of confluences that are going to tell us, you know, maybe we still have room to go a little higher, right? However, we have to keep in mind that Japanese yen, though, is a safe haven currency, just like the US dollar, which means that in times of riskiness, the Japanese yen is going to strengthen. And what happened over the past 3 weeks, especially with Europe? Coronavirus has gotten a lot worse. Probably why the Japanese yen has been strengthening a lot, right? Japan also happens to be a net exporter of vehicles, right? And so when people want to buy Japanese cars, they need to buy Japanese yen. Automobile sales have been doing great in the United States, and so people have been buying a lot of Japanese cars. High demand for Japanese yen continues to go down, right? So right now, even though I want it to go up, it's not happening right now. So what do? I wait patiently for me to see clear signs that we're going to go up, take this liquidity, fill this gap, come tap at the top of this triangle, somewhere around here. And so how long do I wait? When do I know it's a great time to start buying again? My long-term bias was buy, but I see that there are some confluences for us going short a little bit. But my long-term is buying. So I'm going to wait for the long-term movement versus trying to get a short-term scalp, right? That makes sense. One thing I like to do, you can see that we made, this is a low, high, low, high. What do we see when we have the structure? I've taught it before. If you haven't seen it, go and watch my other videos, right? The last one talks about this very well. The last video I just made talks about this very well. I probably will link it here. I also have a great video that is how to trade, you know, with accumulation and distribution. That video as well will teach you about structure. We have this low, high, low, high, low. What's next? High, right? More confluence. However, how far do we wait for it to get low before I think it's going to go high again? Draw your fib from bottom to top. We're almost reaching that 62 level, 70.5 sweet spot. What I would like to see, let's price come down here, maybe hover a little bit, and reject off. Around this area is when I'm going to start looking for buys again, right? some solid candles to form in a buy direction, some solid buy candles that'll give me further confidence that we're heading up again to attack this liquidity, right? To fill in this gap and to create a new high around here before we see maybe a major sell-off again. And that new major sell-off could come around the second wave of coronavirus. See how I'm using fundamental knowledge? I'm keeping up with the markets. It's also why I can trade options, because I keep up with the markets. And see how that relates with what's happening in currencies on a technical view. That is when your trading gets to the next level, right? So my long-term bias, very simply, and this is going to be a very brief video. I mean, honestly, it doesn't have to be too long, is that I'm just going to wait for confluence. And then I can find on a shorter time frame, after we have some longer time frame buying confluence, a shorter time frame, I'll wait until price starts heading up again. And then I can find some smart money or OTE entries, right? Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. Like, please just subscribe. You know, it'll be nice. It'll be a nice thing to do for me. For all this stuff that I help you guys with, subscribing is the best thing you can do. As well, leave a comment. Just comment on the section below. Also, join the group in the description, right? You can learn a lot of things in there. I also have an options group in the description as well. That just got newly formed. Please click those links or copy and paste them into your URL and attack those links. Join the groups, join the family. We just hit 200 members. Really happy. And yeah, until next time, guys.